Hello everybody. So I have had a good hard day's work and come in the office and I did a video yesterday about insurance. Our insurance is due and people ask me all the time when we met these little skip trucks, who do you use for insurance? Where do we go for insurance? Who's the best to use for insurance? So my insurance is due and literally as a man was here doing the new quote for us, somebody texted me and I said to him, I'm happy to recommend him. So it led me on. So actually, no, before I go into that, I am going to tell you all who I use for my insurance. So disclaimer, I am not sponsored in any kind of way by this company. They just do our insurance and we have had a really good service. And what I'll do actually in this video, I'll talk about how we ended up using these and why. So this is who we use. C&C Insurance Brokers. They are based in Leeds. I'll put all their details on the screen so you know who to ring straight away at the beginning of the video, so you don't have to watch it all. The man from the insurance has recently been out and he's given me some good pointers about how to get our insurance down. A lot of companies will give these same details and same ideas, and I'm going to discuss some with you just quickly, just to try and save you a few quid, and I'll tell you about our insurance and what we've had. So we was using GM Insurance, which is well-known company for the waste industry, and before that we was using Towergate, and before that can't remember. I think maybe Towergate's the only one we've used, then GM. So what happened is we was with Towergate, we saw the advert in the back of the skip hire paper or whatever it was, and then we decided to go over to GM. We'd been with Towergate a few years and GM offered us a lot better price as a new customer, which with insurance you'd think if you was the same place for a while and they'd had some money off you, they'd maybe look after you. But I've found, and this is only my opinion so I don't want to get sued by anybody, but these companies, what you seem to find with them is that when they get you as a customer, they just keep renewing it and the price goes up and you get the old thing, don't you? Running costs have gone up, this has gone up, that's gone up, everything's gone up. And you get that same thing every year. Yeah, we had it with Towergate. We'd have a good year. Don't get me wrong, we have bad years and your insurance will go up a little bit. So let's say you have a load of claims one year and your insurance goes up. The next year is a good year. You would think it'd go down a little bit. After the bad year, you have a good year and it go down. Not necessarily. And what I've found is, and this is just my personal opinion, when we was with Towergate and we was with GM Insurance, I don't know how to describe it because I'm not an insurance guy, but basically, let's say you had a couple of good years, your policy won't go down that much. So you never really, with GM, we was never really in Towergate, they never really sort of like rewarded us for being good. And if you had a bad year, the policy went up. So I know an insurance broker can only do what they can do. The insurance companies will give you the insurance and the broker just takes his 20% commission. But what you have to remember is with insurance, and I'm not an expert, but I've been reading a bit online, basically the more they can charge you, the better for them. That's, the insurance company will say, right, it's 40 grand for insurance, for instance, and if they charge you 60, they've made 20,000 quid or whatever they make. I think I was reading online that the average is 15 to 20% goes to the brokers. Lowest said 10 and the highest is usually 20, which I'm assuming is a standard fee. But if your insurance companies, can get more out of you, they will do. And this is how we ended up with double C. Well, C and C. A friend of ours said he'd been using them for some stuff he'd been doing. We rang them and they said they was trying to get into the commercial market. This was a while ago. They was doing more commercial. And they came out and seen us, looked at our insurance, and we got a quote off them, which was, I think, don't hold me to it because I can't remember the numbers, it was a couple of years ago, but I think there was £10,000 cheaper than GM Insurance for the same insurance. As I say, don't hold me to the numbers, but I'm sure it was £8,000 or £10,000, maybe even a bit more. It was a massive saving because we would have just stayed where we was, and I think that's what insurance companies as a whole sort of like rely on, is that you'll get with them and you'll stay there. That's the whole basis, I think, of these insurers with the massive policies. what I would always suggest to you to do, which is what we do now, even though we're with this company and they are really good, they come out and see us each year, and this year we've had a good couple of years, which I'll explain to you in a second. Our insurance this year is going to go down about 15 grand. So that's really good. And when you do your insurance, this is a thing called a claims experience. So this is our claims experience. So it's a 3-year period, and in 3 years we've had roughly 10 accidents in over 3 years. This piece of paper will tell you all the details of the accident. So what accident it was, hit a car, whatever. The amount of money the insurance paid. So for instance, in 2021, we paid out, well, not us, the insurance paid out £24,000. Bearing in mind our policy was about 50 grand, 60 grand even, I think. So they made probably double whatever they insured us, charged us 50, 60 grand. They got 50% of that as profit. In 2022, we had 0 claims. So they made on us 40, 50, 60 grand that year. Like I said, I don't know the numbers exactly because this is just a video that's come slightly to my mind because people ask me questions. 2023, we had £3,000 in claims. So on your claims experience, which is what this sort of thing looks like, it tells you all your accidents. It can be if you've hit something, like some of the values on these accidents are 0. So it could be somebody's hit you. Somebody hits you and it still goes on this, it's like a frequency report, like how many accidents you've been involved in. So that is what the base the quotes on that you will get, which I'll explain to you in just 2 seconds. So we paid 150 grand insurance, let's just say, which is probably a safe number, and the insurance company paid out £26,000. So the insurance company and the broker, we've been with these for 2 or 3 years now. So the insurance company has basically made 100,000 quid. What you've got to remember when these insurance companies make that kind of money, it sounds like a load of money. Not if you have a bad year. You can just hit one car with 5 people in it, and that claim can be 50 grand on its own. You know, that is the world we live in. People love to put a claim in, and that is how it is. But obviously, our insurance broker, these guys, like I say, we're not sponsored. They just have been real good to us. And to be fair, Towergate, they're not that good. They're you sort of like just a number you ring up and you get some sales rep and all that. GM Insurance, very good. They've got the best customer service, but obviously, like I say, we couldn't get on with them with the price. That it started going up every year and stuff like that. Like I say, well, some years we had crashes, some we didn't. Just the way it works, not everybody can be, you know, you can't always get on with every company, but they're, you know, like I say, the price never went down if you had a good year. It never seemed to anyway, which you never know the truth of the matter because the broker will tell you what your insurance is, and that isn't necessarily what the price is. Your broker will say, right, it's 30 grand this year. It could be 10 grand and 20 grand is a commission, so you never actually know. When you get an insurance policy, if it's one man, one van, and one driver, it will always be cheaper. So that is the lowest you will ever get. So your insurance will have a bottom threshold. So they'll say, right, we will not insure a transit van, even if the King of England was driving it for less than 1,500 quid. That is the benchmark and the lowest price we will get, no matter how much no claims they've got, no matter anything else. That is the bottom line. So no matter what, you pay 1,500 quid. So you've got 10 transits, it's 15 grand. Then they will, from that point, this is using our claims history. So let's go over to if you've got 5 or 10 vans. You've got 5 or 10 vans, for instance, and there's 10 vans, and in 3 years we've had 10 crashes. So 10 vans, 10 crashes, 3 years. That means, you know, each van's having a crash every other year or every third year, whatever. And that's how the insurance will look at it. Over 3 years, they'll say, he's had a low amount of crashes or a high one. And I think, speaking to the insurance brokers over the years, not just the one with now, that the frequency is the most important thing. If you've got a driver who drives 1,000,000 miles an hour and acts like an idiot and people crash into him, stuff like that, that can be just as bad as them driving like an idiot and hitting into somebody. People hitting them can also go against you on your insurance, because a safe driver, if you've got a car who's right up your back end, you should increase your distance, you know, which prevents you having an accident, and that's what the insurers want to see. They want to see that drivers are trained. So how can you save a load of money on insurance? Well, I'm going to tell you the secrets that the brokers have told me over 10 years. I tell you what, I look alright messy. This old this is my old work t-shirt. Oh, I'll tell you what, 15 years we've been together. Everyone's got an old work t-shirt, but it's nice and sunny today, so I thought I'll stick that on. So, right, how to save some money. The main thing you can do is get yourself a forward-facing camera. That's the main thing. You can actually get cameras now which you can watch live on your computer from your office. So your driver's driving like a maniac, you can see it from the office. There's some really good telematics and tracking software and everything that all link together, so it'll even tell if your driver's speeding. That's number one. Number two would be to get your driver assessed. We use a guy called Tomo, second name Thompson, but it's a driver solutions company in Hull. I might do a video for him later on because we do a lot of work for him and he's real good. So he will come in, he takes our drivers out, and to put it in a blunt way, you know, my reading, writing and everything else in the best. So, you know, just to put it in a council estate way, if you like, you know, he'll tell you if a driver's a numpty or a good driver. If the guy is a numpty, he'll work with him, get him up to speed and get him, you know, safe. And then he looks at things like, let's say your driver, and this can happen, you've got a driver who's focusing, say he's in a truck and he's got a gearbox, what's a pain in the ass, you know, a split box. He might be concentrating on the gearbox, not watching the road. Or he might be looking at a sat-nav and not looking at the road, or whatever. He will work with them and say, right, this and this is what he needs. They'll work on it, he'll put it in a piece of paper, so if ever you get a knock on the door, your driver's done something, you can at least show that you've been training them, and your insurance will obviously like that as well. When you take on drivers, you can look for people that are not having a lot of crashes, not got points, just the usual stuff. And that's the main thing to keep your insurance down. And that's basically insurance in a nutshell. For the millions of people ask me who we get insured with, it's C&C Insurance Brokers in Leeds. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. They're just good people. Come out and they do put your policy down if you've had a good year. The insurance will go down. What I've always found with other companies is once they've got you, and they don't seem to do as much work. The main thing seems to be making money and not looking after the customer. They'll be brilliant on the phone, but when your renewal comes, it's not as good. So I can definitely recommend them from my personal experience. I'm not sponsored. You know, fleet insurance, you know, GM is good for your trucks. They're real nice people there, but like I say, they didn't look after us on the price. And Towergate, good insurance. Again, they're pretty decent, but the only problem you got with them is you get some automated office when you've got something going on. There's not a lot of personal touch. These guys, like I say, the insurance goes up if you have a crap year, but it goes down if you have a good year, and that is your incentive to, you know, sort yourself out. We're paying now roughly 50-60% of what our insurance was just a few years ago because of when we was with GM, because these guys obviously help you get yourself managing your lorries better, managing your drivers, getting them more training, you know, sending people out. And that's not just down to insurance, they just advise you of things that you should do. We do a lot of it anyway, but they certainly do look at the market exactly as it should be and go up and down. But don't take my word for it and just use any one company. Make sure you go out there and get a quote. Never have your insurance all in one place. Get a quote, and then you can at least have two to see where is the best price. Anyway, I hope that gives you a good idea, and for the hundreds of people ask me on a monthly basis, who do I use for the insurance, that will tell you who we use right now and why we use them and how we got there and how to save yourself a bit of money. Well, it's the weekend in the afternoon. I've stayed back late on my own to do a video. I'm going to edit it now, stick it on, have a good weekend, make a few quid, and don't forget we've got the Tyson Fury fight soon, so looking forward to that, all you boxing fans. Right, I'll see you soon. Bye.